For millions, a Saturday afternoon in Brazil follows a mandatory 1,200-calorie rhythm, a slow-cooked culinary ritual serving as the communal anchor before a football match. A proper feijoada completa is more than a single bowl. It's a strict composition of specific parts. You have the dark, smoky base of black beans and cured meats, paired with white rice, toasted cassava flour, and sautéed collard greens. Finally, fresh orange slices are served alongside to cut the heavy animal fats and aid digestion. This isn't just lunch. It is the metabolic engine of a fan base that supports the world's most successful football nation, creating a shared physical and cultural ritual that begins hours before kickoff. If you ask about the history of this dish, you will likely hear a story about the colonial sugarcane plantations. The legend says that enslaved Africans invented feijoada by taking the scraps discarded by their masters, the pig's feet, ears, and tails, and boiling them with black beans to survive. It is a story celebrated today as a representation of subaltern ingenuity, a narrative of a marginalized population transforming the remnants of their master's kitchen into a national symbol. But when you look at the 19th century urban records and colonial dietary logs, the story changes. The historical evidence suggests the scrap meat origin is a romanticized myth. Recognizing this shift changes how we view Brazilian identity. It suggests that the nation's defining cultural icons weren't born from grassroots revolutions, but were elite European imports that were carefully adapted to serve a new national image. Feijoada actually descends from elite European pork and bean stews, like the Portuguese cozido and the French cassoulet. In Brazil, colonizers simply swapped out white beans for the local black variety and added salt-cured beef to the pot. Those pig trotters and ears were never discarded trash. In the European culinary traditions of the time, those specific cuts were highly prized delicacies, consumed primarily by the wealthy. Football followed a similar path. When the sport arrived in 1894, it was an aristocratic pursuit, played exclusively by the white elite on private grounds, a direct reflection of the state's broader policies aimed at demographic whitening. In this era, both the stew and the sport were exclusionary practices. They were cultural imports used by the ruling class to distance themselves from the non-white majority. But by the 1930s, the regime of Getulio Vargas faced a political crisis. He needed cultural anchors that could unite a highly regionalized and socially fractured nation. He found his framework in the work of Gilberto Freire, who argued that Brazil's defining strength wasn't its European heritage, but its multiracial hybridity, or mestiçaje. The state actively rebranded these once elite imports. Feijoada became a symbol of the multiracial melting pot, while football became a stage for multiracial harmony, celebrating a fluid and integrated national style. To lock this identity in place, Vargas launched state-funded projects to build massive municipal stadiums, converting urban spaces into secular temples. These stadiums functioned as the infrastructure for a newly manufactured identity, turning an imported British sport into the homeland in football boots. This cultural connection is backed by biology. The daily pairing of rice and beans provides a near-perfect nutritional profile for an athlete, forming a complete protein with the amino acids required for endurance and repair. There is a shared logic between the pitch and the kitchen. The domestic resourcefulness required to unify scattered leftovers into a single stew parallels the tactical resilience of the game, where a goalkeeper must reset the clean sheet every day, regardless of what happened the night before. This combination of physical fuel and mental resilience allowed icons like Pelé to transform the game into an expressive art form, establishing Brazil as a global football superpower. Brazil didn't build its empire on raw talent alone. It paired physiological excellence with a profound shared sense of belonging that starts at the lunch table. While racial democracy may have started as a state-manufactured myth, it was eventually reclaimed. The working class took this matchday ritual and made it an authentic anchor for their communities. It is a communal consumption that forces millions of Brazilians to slow down and unite in the hours before the whistle blows. Feijoada and football are inseparable forces. The stew is the glue for the fans and the fuel for a global sporting superpower. For